ball is below the waist and it strikes fair territory one time and comes across the plate, including the shadow, like this is a strike if it comes across there. If the ball bounces on the plate, so a lot of these girls have bouncy pitches, especially in the little ones. You know, you can release it as long as it's, you know, the proper pitch, you know, the top of the ball below the waist. It can bounce, and if it bounces on the plate and goes over the kid's head, it's still a strike. Because we always call the strike from where the ball crosses the plate. Had an instance in a state tournament game years ago. Girl just happened to slip, the ball just slipped out of her hand, and it hit once, bounced up real high, hit the plate, and bounced over her head. And the umpire called strike. And I mean, the stands went berserk, you know.
That's right.
That's not a strike. Well, yes, it is. It hit the plate. That's why you always want to tell your girls to kick the ball at the plate. Because if they're standing back here, most pitches come up as the ball crosses the plate. Because we're not going to call it a strike. If your girl's up here ready to kick, and it bounces, and it's above the knee, and it hits her right here, the umpire can see that was a high pitch. Back here, and it hits her here, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. Well, it could have been below the knee up at the plate. So you always want your kids, I always put a line about, when I'm coaching, about a foot behind the line. If you have a right-footed kicker, this is where they need to be, you know, to kick the ball. Okay, let's go into the game a little bit. First thing you need, we can get a game started, is you need your lineup. You need to be prepared. If y'all aren't prepared when you get here, every game that follows you is behind schedule. When you turn in your lineup, make sure you give the lineup to the opposing team. We will not start the game unless both coaches and the scorekeeper have the same lineup. Hopefully they have the same lineup. That's one thing, coaches, you know, a lot of times y'all make up a lot of lineups. Make sure you have 3 that are the same. Once that's started, of course, we call kicker up. You know, well, back up a little bit. Scorekeeper. Once you've been given the lineup, please enter everything on that scorebook. Name, number, who the home team is, and when the umpire says play ball, you know, he should give you a time. Game time is 6 o'clock, or if it's 6:05, right on there, 6:05. Reason being, our games only last how long? An hour and 15 minutes. Had a deal last year. They're calling me and saying the games were going 2 hours and 30 minutes. You know, so I get the score sheets. There's no time when the game started. So as far as I know, it was a real close. It was a 1 or 2 to 1 game, and they played 9 innings. Well, if it was 1, 2, 3 out, 1, 2, 3 out, you can almost get 9 innings in an hour and 15 minutes. So I had nothing to go on. But we only play an hour and 15 minutes. If, for some reason, we do not get to a regulation game, which is 3.5 innings if the home team's ahead, or 4 innings if the visitor's ahead, that game would be rescheduled and played over in its entirety. It is not a suspended game. If it's tied after a regulation, we're going to end it a tie. So it'll be a half win, half loss. Okay, now we're ready. And remember, if you only have 9 girls here at game time, you need to start the game. Y'all should not be waiting for the pitcher to show up, the left short, or my first baseman's not here, or my big kicker's not here. Get the game going. What you do, if one of those players is not the 10th player, she's not the 10th player, or in the 10th spot, just move all your girls up, leave that 10th spot open. When that girl shows up, that's where she will go immediately. Anytime the 10th player shows up, that girl goes in immediately. Don't care if you played 5 3/4 of an inning, and she shows up, she has to go in. Your 11th player, she shows up, it's going to be up to you if you want to play her or not. Unless she shows up after the 4th inning, after sub time, and then she cannot play at all. But remember, your 10th kicker must go in. If that is appealed, if your 10th kicker has showed up and you haven't put her in, and it's appealed by the non-offending team, you're going to forfeit the game. Okay? So you don't really have a choice when your 10th kicker shows up. They must go in the game. Okay, we're ready to play ball. We call kicker up. Kicker has 20 seconds to get in the circle and be ready to receive a pitch. And that means she must be in here both feet, looking at the pitcher ready. It doesn't mean like this, looking at you down there, giving a signal, bunt or kick or whatever. If she's not, she'll be called out. It's 20 seconds. That's plenty of time. Okay, now she's in, she's ready. The umpire points at the pitcher. I'm ready. I've already gone over what the pitcher has to do. Remain still for 1 second. Start a delivery within 10 seconds. The penalty is a ball or a timeout. Okay, now we have the pitch. Little girl kicks the ball, and she's running toward first base. What base does she need to run to if there's a play being made there?
Orange.
The orange. Even if she makes it to the white before the ball gets there on a play, and she touches only the white, and the first baseman holds the ball on the white base after she passes it, she's called out. She has not touched anything. That's not her base. That's the defensive base. If for some reason she passes it and the ball gets away from the first baseman and she returns to the white base before the appeal, then she's safe. If she passes the base, touches the orange, makes a small commitment to second, and returns to the orange, and it's appealed by the first baseman going over there and tagging her, she's out. She's not standing on anything. The orange base is only used for that primary play. When that play is being made there, they have to use it. If there's no play being made there, they can use either one. And it has to be a legitimate play. Not the girl, she runs over there and she's standing on the white, and then 2 seconds, 3 seconds later, the ball is thrown from the third baseman way over there. There was no play there. A legitimate play. Okay, now we have a runner at first, and we have a kick to the right shortstop. It's a ground ball. A lot of first basemen set up right in the